All right, let's dive into Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. We're going to be talking about these money blueprints today. It's this really interesting idea.
Yeah.
It's basically these beliefs about money that we pick up like way back when we're kids. And the book argues that they can seriously affect our finances and even our relationships later on. I mean, that's pretty wild, right?
It is, yeah. They're like, we don't even realize it, but these blueprints from childhood, they can totally be running the show when it comes to our money decisions, like even decades later.
Right. And like I was thinking about my own childhood. Like, how did my family deal with money? What were the unspoken messages there? It's kind of crazy to think about.
Totally. And the book dives into that whole thing, like how specific events can totally shape our money mindset. Even small things, like you wouldn't even think about it.
Right. Like little seemingly insignificant moments, they can really make a lasting impression, huh?
Yeah, for sure. They even use this powerful real-life example in the book. This woman named Josie, she's an operating room nurse,
Oh, wow.
making good money, but she's always broke somehow.
Really?
Yeah, and they trace it back to this traumatic event from her childhood.
Mhm.
When she was 11, her dad died of a heart attack
Oh my gosh.
right in front of her, and it happened during this big fight about money.
That is heartbreaking.
I know. And so the book argues that this one event, it really messed with her subconscious beliefs about money.
Yeah, I can see that.
She linked money with pain. So like as an adult, she was sabotaging herself financially.
Wow.
It's almost like she was trying to get rid of money to avoid that pain.
So like even years later, something like that can still affect you.
Definitely. And it's not always these huge traumatic events.
Hmm.
You know, the author talks about his wife and in the ice cream truck.
Oh, yeah.
Every time that truck would come by, she would ask her mom for money.
Oh, I used to do that.
And her mom would always be like, go ask your father, dear. He's got the money.
Wow.
Week after week, you know. So she's picking up on these messages about money and gender roles.
Oh, wow. So like men control the money and women don't.
Right.
It's crazy how those seemingly innocent experiences can stick with you.
It's true.
Hmm.
And these beliefs, they form before we can even think critically. So they just become like these deep assumptions about how the world works.
So did these different views on money cause problems in their relationship?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the
Oh.
book says they almost got divorced over it.
Seriously?
Yeah,
That's scary.
yeah. But it makes this point that money isn't just about personal finance. It's about relationships, too. In fact, the book says that money is like the #1 cause of breakups.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. I can see how that would happen, though, if you have these totally different ideas about money.
absolutely. It can cause so much friction. But the key takeaway is understanding, not blame. We all have these blueprints
Yeah.
shaped by our own experiences, and just recognizing that your partner might see things totally differently. That's so important.
Yeah, I can see that. So, like, how do you address that when you and your partner have these clashing money blueprints?
Well, the book talks about the importance of communication. It's about having these, sometimes uncomfortable conversations to figure out each other's money blueprints, where they came from, what fears and beliefs are there, and how are those beliefs affecting your financial decisions as a couple.
Okay, that makes sense. So, communication is key.
Yeah.
But, like, how do you even start those conversations?
Right.
Especially when it's about such deep-seated beliefs?
Well, the book has this structured exercise for couples called Steps for Change. And I think that's a really good place to start.
Okay, I'm interested to hear more about that.
Yeah, we'll dive into that in the next part. It's all about uncovering those money blueprints and figuring out how to work with them.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll be back with more on that and more from Secrets of the Millionaire Mind right after the break.
So this Steps for Change thing, tell me more.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The first step is all about your money history. You
Yeah.
know, like what did you learn about money growing up?
Okay.
What were the messages you got? Even the unspoken ones.
Yeah. And were there any big moments or emotions around money that could be affecting you now?
It's like digging deep into each other's financial past.
Exactly.
Like looking for those buried experiences that could still be driving our behavior.
Right. Like maybe you learn that money is the root of all evil or something, or that rich people are greedy.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one.
And maybe your spending habits are all messed up because you grew up with this scarcity mindset, even if you're doing okay financially now.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you uncover those old beliefs, and then what's the next step?
Then you move on to figuring out your current money blueprint. Like, what are the core beliefs that are running the show now?
Okay.
Like, are you a saver or spender? Do you want security or freedom? Is money a source of stress or opportunity?
Hmm.
And this is where it can get tricky. Because these beliefs, they're often on autopilot. You don't even realize their beliefs. They just feel like the way things are.
Yeah, that's true. So how do you get people to see those beliefs for what they are?
Well, the book suggests asking yourself some key questions. Like, what does money really mean to me? What are my biggest fears about money?
Oh, that's a good one.
And what are my dreams, the things that money could help me achieve?
Right.
Those questions can help you figure out what's really motivating you.
Okay, so you've looked at your individual blueprints. Then what?
Then it's time to talk about shared goals. Shifting the focus from my money versus your money to our money.
I like that.
Talking about what you want to achieve together as a couple,
Mm.
like buying a house, traveling, early retirement, whatever it is.
It's about creating that shared vision.
Exactly. Gives you a sense of purpose and motivation as a team.
I think that's so powerful. Instead of fighting over money, you're working together towards something.
Yeah. And to make it even more real, the book says to write those goals down and come up with some action steps.
So it's not just dreaming, it's actually making a plan.
Right. Like if you want to buy a house, the first step might be setting up a savings plan. Then you can start looking at neighborhoods or talking to mortgage lenders.
Okay, so you break down the big goal into smaller, more manageable steps.
Exactly. It makes it less overwhelming.
And this whole process, it's not just about checking off financial goals, right? It's about strengthening the relationship.
Definitely. When you can talk openly about money, especially the tough stuff, it builds trust and intimacy.
I can see that.
And it reinforces that you're in this together.
This is good stuff.
And remember, it's an ongoing process. You need to keep checking and revisiting those goals and adapting as things change.
So it's a dynamic approach, making sure your financial plan is working for you as a couple.
Right.
And even if you're not in a relationship, you can still use these steps to figure out your own goals, challenge those limiting beliefs.
Absolutely. It's about taking control of your finances and creating the future you want.
I love it. So we've talked about understanding those money blueprints, but what about actually changing them? Can you really rewrite those deep-seated beliefs?
Yeah, the book goes into that too. It's a four-step process: awareness, understanding, disassociation, and declaration.
Okay, break that down for me.
All right, so first you have to become aware that you even have a money blueprint. Pay attention to your thoughts and feelings about money. Notice those automatic reactions or gut feelings. Those could be coming from those old blueprints.
So like if you're always stressed about money, even when you're doing okay financially, that could be a sign that something's up.
Exactly. Or maybe you can't spend money on yourself, even when you can afford it. That could be because of a scarcity mindset you picked up somewhere along the way.
Right.
It's about recognizing those hidden scripts that are running the show.
Okay, so you become aware of the scripts. What's next? So you become aware of the scripts. What's next?
That's where understanding comes in. You got to dig deeper into where those beliefs came from and how they're showing up in your habits, like right now. Connect the dots between those childhood experiences and your relationship with money today.
So we're peeling back the layers and seeing how the past is affecting the present. But how do you actually start to rewrite those old money scripts?
That brings us to disassociation, which means recognizing that those beliefs aren't really you.
Yeah.
They're not your identity.
Okay.
You're not stuck with them forever. It's like saying, hey, this money story I've been telling myself, it's just a story. I can choose a different one.
I love that. It's like taking back your power. But how do you actually create that new story?
That's where declaration comes in. You actively choose new, empowering beliefs about money and commit to living by them.
Okay.
So instead of, I'll never be rich, you might start saying, I am worthy of financial abundance.
So you're consciously replacing those negative scripts with positive ones.
Exactly. And the book says the more you repeat those new beliefs, the more they sink in and start to override those old patterns.
Because your subconscious mind is powerful.
It is, and it believes what you tell it over and over again.
That's pretty amazing.
So if you keep feeding it positive thoughts about money, it'll start to show up in your life.
But how do you go from those affirmations to actual changes in your finances?
The book talks about aligning your actions with your new beliefs,
Okay.
like walking that. So if you're affirming abundance, act like you already have it.
How do you do that?
Invest in yourself. Give generously, allow yourself to enjoy nice things.
So it's about proving to your subconscious that you're serious about this new way of thinking.
Right. It's not just wishful thinking. It's about taking action.
So what happens when you start seeing positive results from those actions?
It reinforces the new beliefs. It creates this upward spiral.
Cool.
Your actions show your subconscious that the new beliefs are true, and that leads to more positive actions and outcomes.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy for financial success. But what about when those old beliefs are really stubborn and hard to break free from?
The book says changing those deep-seated beliefs takes time and effort. You'll have setbacks,
Mm.
moments of doubt. It's about being patient and persistent. Keep coming back to those new empowering beliefs, even when it's tough.
That's a good reminder to be kind to ourselves during this process and to celebrate those small wins along the way.
Definitely.
And if it feels overwhelming, it might be helpful to talk to a therapist or a financial coach.
Absolutely. They can give you support and help you work through those emotional and psychological barriers that might be holding you back.
This deep dive into money blueprints has been so eye-opening. I feel like I have a much better understanding of how those early experiences can shape our financial lives, and most importantly, what we can do to change them.
Me too. And for our listeners, we encourage you to think about your own money blueprint. What are your core beliefs about money? Where did they come from? Are they helping you or holding you back?
And if they're holding you back, remember those steps for change from the book.
Start crafting a more fulfilling and abundant financial future.
It's about realizing that we have the power to rewrite those old scripts.
We're not victims of our past conditioning.
That's a great takeaway. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.
It's been fun.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep questioning everything.
Well,